Hello, and welcome to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Each week, they bring you conversations with local Christian businesses and business owners. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to fine podcasts. The Experience Local is brought to you each week by wonderful sponsors.
Best Heating and Cooling, serving Lynn, Benton, and Marion counties since 1990. Call 503-394-3461 and online at best-heating.com. Join Boson Hub in supporting CASA of Lynn County. Court-appointed special advocates for children. Learn more at lyncasa.org. Independent Merchant Brokers. Innovative solutions for your payment processing needs. 877-460-4747 and on the web, independentmerchantbrokers.com. Memory care at the Arbor at Avamere Court and Independent Living at Avamere at Albany. Learn more online, arboratavamerecourt.com and avamereatalbany.com. Discover Oregon Real Estate. Statewide experts in luxury home sales, farm, ranch, commercial, business sales, and land developments. Call 541-250-1065 and visit them online at dore.llc.
And now, your hosts for The Experience Local, Russ and Scott.
Hey, and we are actually here. You know what? We're here hiding because we wanted to make sure you knew about our amazing guest, Victor, who's going to be on here with us a little bit. And so great to see you, Scott, this morning. Welcome, everybody, to The Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott. And what a blessing it is to be with everybody every Monday. Right, Scott?
I felt a little like Horton in listening to the little we're here.
Yes, we're here.
So
we
are here. Yeah, Victor is a great man. I'm grateful that he was able to come on to this show, The Experience Local, Believers in Business. We focus on Christians in business and nonprofits and how they're integrating their faith and family into all of that good that they're doing. And people can learn more if they go to local.theexperience.video. Everything's there, including a link to Russ's new book, Life Happens, and Then You Choose. And Russ, you also have a book signing coming up.
Yes, we do. And I'm going to tell everybody about that because that's really important for all you people that are local, especially. And coming up on the 22nd at Willamette Valley Christian Supply, going to have an amazing book signing. It's just a fun time to get together. I can sign your book and we can just chat. And I appreciate all the support. And really, I appreciate the support for Kevin and Krista at Willamette Valley Christian Supply and all that they do there. So if you guys would jump into that, that would be so amazing and would really, really appreciate that. And Scott, you know what? It's always such an honor and a blessing to be with you. You helped me on my last show this morning, jumped in. So we've been able to see each other on one show before this. And you know what? You're always there for me through this book, through all that I'm doing. And that is what amazing friends do. And thank you for that.
You know, we are all in this together. And I know that I'm not the only recipient of a lot of text messages and WhatsApp messages and whatever platform you're on. From you, Russ, you are a great encourager, a supporter, and sending those messages saying, hey, just want to let you know I'm praying for you today, that you have a good day, a blessed day. And thank you for that. And I'm going to tell people that if they buy your book, Life Happens and Then You Choose, and they read the book, it's just like spending a weekend with Russ and getting all of that encouragement. So Life Happens and Then You Choose. It's going to be available at the bookstore at Willamette Christian Supply for the signing. You can get it on Amazon. You can get the Kindle version, you can get the hardback version, you can get the paperback version, and as we say, collect all three.
Yeah, and actually right now, Scott, since you brought that up, it's actually available now at Willamette Valley Christian Supply. In fact, I was going to get a picture of that, which I will get up here at some point. But it is available at the store now, and then you come back for the signing. Would appreciate you supporting Kevin and Krista, and it supports me too. So yeah, thank you everybody for that. And we got so much going on this week, Scott, but just want to remind everybody one more time what you already told them. And that is, if you guys want more information on us, go to the local.theexperience.video for everything you need to know about Scott and I. And you can also go straight to theexperience.video if you want to go directly to our YouTube page and subscribe today. We'd love for you to do that. All the people locally in the local area were part of the Experience Radio Network. So you can catch us on KWIL in Albany, Oregon, 6 p.m. on Mondays, or you can catch us on KYKN Radio in Salem, Oregon on 8:30 on Saturday mornings every week. So we appreciate you supporting those stations as well.
Absolutely.
And Scott, any last...
I was just going to say KYKN on Saturday mornings, 8:30 Pacific time. That's also on TuneIn. So if you use TuneIn, which I love TuneIn because it allows me to listen to radio stations from around the world, you can listen to KYKN Saturday morning at 8:30. Catch the Experience Local right there.
Right. And it's really truly amazing to have to be part of so many things that get the word out there. I mean, so many different networks that we have available for us. So, it's a blessing, Scott. And you are the one that originally tuned me in to all of this technology years ago. So thank you for that.
Well, it's, as we say, absolutely the best time ever to be alive. And speaking of ever, she is behind the scenes teammate, makes so many things happen, living in the Philippines. There's a lot of devastation going on with the typhoons running through there.
Yes.
We got word that Ever and her family is safe, but pray for the many people that are being impacted by the typhoons there.
Yes, we are definitely thankful for her safety and her family, but praying for all the people of the Philippines for that. And that's what this is all about. So yeah, with that, thank you all for praying with us and keep them in mind. There's always lots of tragedies that we need to be thoughtful of, but yeah, this is close to our hearts. So thank you for that. Before we bring Victor in, I'm just going to tell everybody, thank you one more time. Don't forget, show up on the 22nd, but here's a picture. There's Kevin and I in the bookstore with the books up there on the shelves, ready to go. And they have my old book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, as well as the new book. So yeah, wanted to get that in there because I forgot to put that picture up. So with that, let's talk to Victor. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, here he comes, Victor Johnson. Hey, Victor.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to see you.
It is so great to have you here. And it was a blessing to have you on our other show. You and I are part of the Ziegler morning devotions on Mondays, which I was at this morning, which is a blessing to me every start of my week. And talk to us a little bit about Victor and who you are and what's going on in your life.
Well, first of all, thank you again for inviting me to the platform. I love what you guys are doing. The Experience Local, where we get to celebrate local business, family, faith, all the things that we'll talk about today. And congratulations again on your book, Russ, releasing that second book. And I hope you flood that building with people just coming to get your word. So congratulations again on that. So who I am, and I typically start this way, rather than throwing titles out there and things like that, but I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. Actually, my first granddaughter turned 6 years old today. So
oh my goodness,
really excited for her. Yes. And she's in Atlanta. So I didn't get to see her yet, but we'll talk tonight through FaceTime. But I'm also obviously a son, a brother, a cousin, and family member. And I just love the roles that I play for my family and for the people in my immediate circle. Outside of that, what I do is I'm a community outreach coordinator for Prosperity Bank, which is a local bank here in Texas and Oklahoma, a regional bank. And I'm on the mortgage team. So I'm always doing outreach and home buyer education or financial literacy workshops just to help improve the financial stability of the community. Outside of that, as we talked about the last time, I serve on quite a few boards, most of which are nonprofit boards that have some kind of service tied to them. And I am a published author as well. I have a book called Proven Pathways to Wealth and Happiness. It is mindset, real estate results, and it's not what you're thinking. It's not some wealth builder book. It's really about the mindset shift that I had to take when I was living paycheck to paycheck and had a credit score in the 500s and still floating around life like I had it all together. But really some things that I was able to shift in my mindset, really get serious and disciplined about tackling the debts and saving money and increasing my value so that I can make more money. And then how those things, with God's grace, were able to start investing in rental properties and start a business. So that's who I am, what I do. I'm sure we'll peel the layers back as we go along.
Well, I want to go back and let's get the backstory on your faith. Give us your let's get that testimony of your conversion.
So I was actually, I guess my first introduction to faith was through my grandmother, Pearlie Mae Anderson, who would take me to actually a Catholic church called St. Paul of the Shipwreck Church in San Francisco, California. So I don't know, I probably was 7, 8 years old when she first took me in there. And of course, I just was just following behind grandma because I know we're going to get a good meal at the end of this whole thing. And so, but I got introduced to the church and Jesus Christ there. And I actually went to private schools, parochial schools, up until my 11th grade, my 12th grade year in high school. So I was always in private schools. So there was always a lot of spirituality and classes literally around the Bible in the schools. And I just didn't realize that. I think it was just more of a that's what I'm supposed to do type of mentality. But as I got older, and of course, as I met my wife now, Latasha Johnson, we ended up right before we got married in 2011. We joined a church just outside of Atlanta in a city called Smyrna. And that was where I think it really started sinking in for me, because at that church, we were able to serve. So we realized the power of serving in church and really being a blessing to others rather than focusing in on ourselves. And so I think from that time forward, it's really been a critical and probably the primary focus of my life is to put God first.
Well, and I think what you brought up there is so critical when we need to put action to our faith. And I think a really good place to start is serving in church. Sometimes it's hard for people to serve and do things outside of church. So why not start with the easy stuff, the low-hanging fruit, right? Right there in church. They are dying for people at your church. Everybody, tell me, there is not one church out there that is not dying for volunteers and help at the church. Right. So jump in and do things. Being in music ministry for over 30 years, knowing how hard it is to get people to volunteer. My beautiful daughter right now is also a pastor and working with people all the time and trying to get people involved. But you know what? People find that once they really jump in, it's amazing what God does in them through helping and through the giving. Talk a little bit more about that and how, the giving spirit, when I heard you speak on the Ziegler devotions as well and how it expands to your community and all that you're doing, you've just been a blessing. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, God is good. I'll say that. And when you've been gifted with certain talents or skill sets, I believe we're all here to use those in service of his people, of his kingdom. And so I don't see it as I got to do this. I see it as I get to do this. I get this opportunity to be a blessing to others that, I've had a lot of experiences in my life. And so I have tons of stories to share and missteps that I was able to correct and things that I know will help others that are coming, behind me in those similar experiences or completely different experiences. And not to mention the fact that there were so many people who were a blessing to me throughout my life and still are. And we don't realize that I see those as God's angels. When you get a favorable situation that happens to you. We were dealing with our washer was acting crazy a couple of weeks ago, and we called the warranty company, and they came out, and the person who they sent out was, oh, well, you guys are using it too abusively. I'm like, this thing is 8 years old. I don't know how abusively you could use the washer. So I reached back out to the warranty company and said, hey, you got to send somebody back out. And lo and behold, the person says, no, this is kind of just normal wear and tear. You guys need to take care of this. And the warranty company says, we're just going to give you a brand new washer, right? Like, I don't know who the people were behind the scenes on that, but those were angels that blessed us with something in favor. And it could be the smallest things to the largest things. And so for me, I know that if I'm presented with an opportunity to be a blessing with somebody, it's because God sent me there. And so I don't take those moments lightly. I look at those as opportunities to really show up for God in a way that he's shown up for me.
Yeah, like the way you talk about the business. My wife often says, this is God's business and I get to work for him. So it is all about our perspective. And just this weekend in our men's group at church, we were talking about, well, I mentioned, we're talking about gifts. And I mentioned that Red Skelton, the old comedian, had this great line that really impacted me. He said, if you have any talent, that's your gift from God. If you use that talent, that's your gift to God. And so you mentioned nonprofit organizations. And I grew up with my mother being deeply involved in nonprofits. I think I got involved in my first nonprofit on a board when I was 25. I've never not been on a board of a nonprofit since then. And you mentioned these. And what surprises me is the number of people that I meet in business who have skills that are not involved in nonprofit groups. But let's talk about your involvement there and how you use that as an expression of your faith.
Well, I'm part of 3 different nonprofit organizations right now. One is called King's Accountability Group. These are men of color that are building other men of color. And it's not a racial type of thing. It's just men that are in similar circles that know what each other have dealt with, from family to business to health. And it's a safe space for men to share. We provide professional and personal development. We've now turned that into this Prince to Kings program where we're mentoring young boys. Actually, now we're probably gonna have to change the name because we got some young girls in there as well. But we're taking young men who in many cases don't have father figures in their lives, and we're just kind of helping them along their way. And we've been able to 501c3 the organization. So we've got grants coming in support of the programs that we're providing, which is the benefit of that one is on Fridays. There's a city that I grew up in California called Richmond, California. Probably not the place where people want to go to retire. You know, it's got some violence and there's drugs and things like that going on. Their school districts are kind of in shambles. And on Fridays, we got guys there that show up every Friday with hot meals, and they mentor these young folks and just give them a safe space to talk. And the parents love it. The community loves it because these kids otherwise will be out running amok, right? So being part of that is kind of full circle for me because, again, I grew up in that community. So to be able to be someone who can benefit and participate and bring dividends and dollars to these families is great. Another way I serve on a nonprofit is called the Educational Foundation for Carrollton Farmers Branch Independent School District, and I serve as the chair of scholarships. So again, here I am in a position where, you know, donors have said they want to help out the school district where the school district can't afford things. Educators want to do programs, but they don't have the money to do it. Students want to get funding for post-high school education or certification programs or whatever they're wanting to do. And I'm in a position to communicate with all the high school counselors and the principals. Hey, share this out. We have money to give away for kids. Like, so it's just, again, I'm just leveraging places that God has put me in and making sure that I show up fully and in excellence and just do what I can to add value to that.
Well, what I love about what you're saying is, you know, God has provided the opportunities and you have stepped through the door and made choices. You know, that's really what the theme of my new book is, honestly, is just life is happening all the time, but we're making choices. You have made good choices to help others and to move forward. And I think, you know, it's kind of like it's the reciprocal waterfall effect. When somebody helps you, and then you are a blessing and you help somebody else, and then maybe they help somebody else.
Yeah.
Through my cancer journey, I have received some major blessings and help, and I have made sure to return that. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but I have made sure to honor God in what I can do. Maybe I can't give at the level that I was given to because of what I needed, but I can give to other people at another level, but still keep helping others out. And I think that's so important because everybody doesn't have amazing families like we do.
Right.
And speaking of amazing families, let's talk a little bit about your family. You obviously alluded to the fact that you're a husband and a grandfather, which means you're a father. Talk a little bit about how your family has integrated to your life and all that you do.
Oh man, I love my family, and sadly, my wife and I are empty nesters here in Texas, and much of the family is all over the place. So we travel a lot. They come in, we go out, but it is just a joy of my life to know that I participated in creating lives, and that I'm still involved with them being good contributors to society. Right? None of them are in jail or doing anything that is not holy per se, right? But they're beautiful kids in their own right, or kids, they're grown-ups now, and so they're out doing their thing. And I love that I have an opportunity to just be available to them with a phone call or with a piece of advice or just to show love. And so it is, as you get older, you really appreciate those brief calls or brief moments more than ever, because there was a time where I was aggressively pursuing career, aggressively pursuing things of the world, dollars. I mean, we still have to earn money, but I sometimes believe that in my 20s and early 30s, I put that first. And I neglected certain times, and, due to relationships with mothers at time, there's two different mothers to my kids. And so as a young man trying to figure it all out, there were times where I'd blame, well, she's not letting me see my son, or, but it was all me. I had to take full responsibility. And so now I have a chance to share with my kids how to be better parents and how to be there for them, which thank God they're doing so much better. At least my daughters, my son doesn't have any kids yet. But that is the joy of life, because I'm pouring in. There was somebody 100 years ago that was doing things that benefited my life. And so I'm hopeful that I'm showing up for my kids in a way that the great grandkids that I'll never meet will still say, man, I'm so glad that Paul Victor had something to do with our family's legacy. Lost audio. Oh, that's Scott.
There we go. I wrote a blog about, 15 years ago, said I was preparing for the 22nd century, because I was thinking back about my grandparents, who I had a direct connection with, and their parents and grandparents, who they were connected with, came from the 19th century, right? I mean, that was where they were at. And so I was thinking about my son, who is my youngest of three, and his kids and grandkids, that I'm having a direct effect, because his kids are going to grow up into the 22nd century.
Wow.
And you just think about that when you're having these conversations, that it's not just today. It's that legacy that we're leaving, that imprint that we're leaving, the example that we're living by following Christ and listening to what God is telling us to do in our lives. And so as we're thinking about the future, maybe the overwhelming future, let's get some practical steps that people can do today, living in a fallen world and in the society that we have.
Well, one thing that I've done lately, for the last several years, I'm big on positive affirmations, prayers, and spending time just to be able to connect with God in a way that touches deeper into my soul, not just the surface. And as someone who does speaking quite a bit around town, around the country in times, and I do a lot of mentoring, I have found, one of the beauties of ChatGPT is the ability to prompt it to give you what you're looking for. It's no longer like Google, you're searching, but the prompting is different. You're telling it now what you need. And so I asked ChatGPT to give me a daily speaker's declaration. Like, what are words from the Bible that would support my business as a speaker? Since that's what I do as a profession, I get paid to speak, whether it's through the bank or through my own book and bookings. And I got several like declarations that I say. And so an actionable thing I would tell people is, whatever your business is, whatever it is that you do with your talents, your skills to earn a living, to take care of your family and your community, maybe ask ChatGPT or one of these AI platforms, give me a full declaration that I can say every morning to feed into myself. Because, we got to, Les Brown, the speaker, says, you got to fortify yourself every morning. Like every morning, we are getting attacked by so many distractions, whether it's the news or on some feed on your phone or whatever. And so if you can take control of your morning, then that's what I would encourage people. First of all, there's certain things, like part of it says for generational impact. That's something I'm really passionate about. My words are seeds. My voice is an echo into generations. I declare that through me, families will be strengthened, leaders will be raised, and communities will prosper. And it's pulled from Psalm 78, verse 4. And I believe that that's an actionable thing, Scott, that a person can do, is to get yourself filled with the word or with some positivity in the morning. I'm talking about before you do anything else, give time to the Lord and watch how it blesses your day.
Oh my goodness. Amen. You're speaking my language. So I love to encourage and inspire people. And I love to, number one, spend time with the Lord in the morning before anything else. And, I also love AI and ChatGPT because I've learned that there are so many positive things. And it actually, Victor, I know you've learned this. It learns how you talk and what your mode is. Yeah. And when I ask it for stuff in the way that I would say it, it's pretty much right on. And it comes up with great ideas that maybe aren't just popping into your head. And some people would say, oh, that's cheating. Well, no, I think it's actually God allowing people to come up with these amazing technology that we can actually use for him to glorify him. And I think anything that is used to glorify God has a good purpose. So, all right, I need to be the responsible host because we only have a couple minutes left. So tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, learn more about all that you're doing, Victor, because we could talk forever, but we got to get it wrapped up.
Absolutely. Well, anything you need to know about me or to contact me, you can visit my website, bethevictor.us, bethevictor.us. Pretty much the same handle all across social media. LinkedIn is Be The Victor Consulting. But I'm looking forward to connecting with people. If anybody's watching this, whether live or in the future, feel free to email me at victor@bethevictor.us. And I'll end it with this. Like we were on that AI thing. One of the things I've also done is I have had trouble over the years understanding revelations in the Bible. And I have pulled each chapter out. I go to the Bible app and they got this beautiful segment where they kind of break it down for you in layman's terms. But I go to ChatGPT and I'll ask it, explain chapter 1 of Revelations like I'm a third grader. And I'm telling you, it is just a powerful thing to be able to understand this stuff. So reach out to me if I can help you in any way or give you some tips on how you can be a better person out here in the world and serve.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you so much, Victor. With that, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Have a blessed week. And until next time, get out there and enjoy the experience live. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to fine podcasts. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next time on The Experience Local with Russ and Scott.